Yeah, it was just sort of this gradual experience of learning and discovering and hearing new information. It didn't feel like just this sudden moment. It was just, when you're in this process, it's incredibly overwhelming, and I feel
Yeah.
like things become a blur.
Yeah. There was, tests we were doing that were, they said, oh, let's do a biopsy, and then we'll know, if it's a type of tumor that we can maybe do a study on. Remember and so I went in for this biopsy, and um, I was watching because they did ultrasound. Well, they were putting the needle in, and you could see it. I could see it on the screen, and the doctor was telling me about it. And then, like afterwards, it turned out that all the tissue that they removed was dead. And I'm thinking, well, maybe this big lump in me is all dead, you know? But as it grows, as these tumors grow, the blood supply gets cut off and it dies. Parts of it die.
Yeah, so there's new tissue development, new tumor development, and then dead tissue all sort of happening and growing and dying at the same time, which then also adds more toxicity to the body. But when you first had symptoms and then discovered that there was a tumor,
Right.
that was when we had a
That was
conversation.
in January, beginning of January.
Yeah. And that was when we had the conversation about you stopping drinking coffee, needing to quit smoking. You started getting more strict with your
because
diet.
we knew it was going to come out. We knew fairly quickly. I mean, we found out about the tumor at the beginning of January, and by the middle of January, I was scheduled for surgery.
No, it wasn't the middle of.
Was it the end?
It was a little later. Well, maybe the third week in January, but you were not 100% doing it, but it was scheduled. Because I remember it was that final conversation with Hope for Cancer that they said, we think this is the best thing for you to get this out.
I wanted to get it out. She was afraid of me going for surgery. And I said, I want this thing out of me. And then she talked to Hope for Cancer, and they said, yeah, let's get this thing out, and then we'll clean up whatever's left over.
Right. Because I was worried not just about what's left over. I was worried about the trauma on her body of getting a surgical procedure. A lot of the times when you disturb the tissue, it agitates things. And so there's actually a lot of information out there about biopsies and how they can trigger.
Right. Oxygenation of
trigger a flare of, it stirs things up. So
I wasn't worried. I wanted it out.
She knew. And when they confirmed it, you had the confidence when they confirmed it to tell me, I really want this. And then that made me feel better too. I think you were kind of being a little wishy-washy about it, not inside, but outside, externally with me, because you didn't want me to get upset and scared. And you didn't want to tell me, I want this, I want it out. We're getting it out, because you knew I'd be, but then when they did that, you were like, I definitely feel that is what I like. That is what I want. And then I'm like, okay, I feel good on both fronts. She, her inner voice, her higher self is saying, get this thing out of me. They confirmed, yes, get do a mass removal, and then we can help support you with that. And that felt so good. Just hearing that from Hope for Cancer gave me the peace of mind. And hearing from her, because one of the things I talk about in the book that is so important is that you listen to your inner voice. If your inner voice is saying, I don't want to get that particular treatment, or I don't want to do this, and that doesn't feel good to me, I don't want to put poison in my body. If you're having those feelings, if you're feeling like you need to do something or not do something, it's incredibly important that you listen. If you, and in regards to treatment, and in regards also to lifestyle, if there's something that's upsetting to you in your life or challenging, or that you need to let go of, I feel that's also important.
I do know that when we went to the first oncologist, this guy's like, well, you're terminal and maybe you last a year or two, right? I mean, he
Oh, yeah.
was just, this
He was-
person was
He was
awful.
awful. He walked into the room.
His
Yeah, he
hair
flipped
like
his
this.
hair. He had like, he was like clearly, you know, probably in his 50s, but had like some sort of fake hair going on. I mean, I don't know what it was. It was like down to here. He was trying to look like he was 20. And he's like, so what do you want to know?
Yeah.
Like, this was our first oncology appointment. This is like, you know, we're planning for weeks to come in here. It's so upsetting. Like, she has stage 4, you know, she might die. We're probably going to die. I mean, based off of everything we're hearing. And so, what do you want to know? It was like, is this for real? I'm like,
And my brother was there. My brother liked this guy.
sorry, Uncle Ben. Throwing you under the bus. Well, he wanted you to go conventional. And
Yeah.
so he was just happy to have whatever, you know.
Yeah. And, you know, I told him that quality of life was the thing that was most important to me. And he said that if I did the immunotherapy, it might possibly give me another year, but you couldn't count on it, right? And I told him, you know, I do construction, you know, fix things. And he goes, well, you know, there is the one drug. He goes, but it makes you feel like you have knives being inserted in your hands and feet. He goes, well, I guess maybe that one wouldn't be too good for you. And I'm just looking at him like, what no, I will not do that. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy. And I said, well, if I choose not to do this, will you, you know, be there for palliative care? And, you know, if I got sick, give me painkillers, let me do what I want to do, but I'm not going to make myself sick with your medicines. And he said, no, that's for hospice to do. And we left and said, okay, let's find somebody else to talk to. Because I needed to find a doctor who would treat me here in the United States and give me scans and take care of me and support me in whatever I chose to do. And we did. We found one at Penn who's been great. Oh,
Yeah. He's amazing.
yeah. Yeah. He told me, he said, you know, when you chose to do this, I was really afraid for you because this doesn't go away and this doesn't get smaller. But in your case, whatever you're doing, just keep doing it. So, yeah, he's really good. And he's continuing, even though we're past the 5-year point, because I know he's just waiting for me to get sick.
He's like, I'm going to keep this lady around and see how long this lasts.
I keep going in. I'm like, I'm looking pretty good for a dead person, aren't I? You see him every 6 months.
Yeah, it was every 3 months up until a certain point, and then it went down to every 6 months.
Yep.
And, you know, when we saw the first oncologist, everything was still undecided. You know, we were in information gathering phase. But then, of course, it was, let's get a second opinion, right? Because first opinion is good, but, you know, I say in the book, you need a second opinion, possibly even a third opinion. And actually, we talked to another oncologist too on the phone, who was very interested in nutrition and integrating holistic approaches. But he had the same, you know, drugs to offer, which is, you know, conventional medicine. They have to follow what is supported by the American
Standard of care.
Yeah, Medical Association. So they all pretty much had the same recommendations. We did confirm it's kidney cancer. We did reconfirm it's stage 4, you know, but still her decision-making process, you know, was up in the air. And I feel like it took a final conversation for you and I for you to fully step into, okay, well, you knew you weren't going to do the conventional treatments. You knew that.
And they did tell us that chemo and radiation were not an option, that it would not work on this type of cancer. So that helped make everything easier. I mean, basically they're saying, you're going to die. We're going to give you this little tiny piece of hope, but this piece of hope comes with side effects, which are
major side effects,
where 40% of the people who take this drug have to come off of it and go on high dose steroids because it causes your immune system to battle itself, and you get immune mediated diseases from the immunotherapy. And I'm like, and I've seen what happens with people who go on steroids. So then you have to go on the steroids, then you go back on the medicine, and you go back on the steroids. You puff up, you're sick, you feel like crap. And I just was like, I'd rather be dead. I just don't want to do that. And I never thought really that I'd be alive. But I just didn't want to live like that. I knew that. But you don't think about, oh shit, 6 years from now, we're going to be sitting in front of the computer talking about it, right? So I do remember 3 months after coming back from Hope for Cancer, and I had gotten my scans, and went and got the report, and I'm sitting there reading this thing, and Amber was in Rochester, and I called her up. I said, I can't believe this. It's gone. I'm like, the tumors in my lungs are fading away. It says right here in this report. And it was unbelievable. Unbelievable. This was at 3 months after Hope for Cancer. It was crazy. And then it just kept getting better and better. But the lymph nodes was like normal size. It was just unbelievable. So, I mean, that's everything we did worked.
Yes. And she was religious about her care, her self-care. Thank God Thrive was there.
Yeah.
Because she left Hope for Cancer and she just went straight to Thrive.
Yep.
And everybody.
And beforehand, before I went for the surgery.
Yeah, beforehand.
Detox
she was
foot baths,
going there.
Reflexology.
Yeah, like 6 days a week. She was doing the laundry in exchange for all of her care. Because we had all the practitioners were helping.
Yeah.
They were amazing.
Such
an incredible team.
Yeah. Yep.
Took care of you.
Yep.
And but we saw like what it took, it was a full-time job.
Oh God, yeah.
It was a full-time job.
I had so many lists.
Yeah, and she had she had 2 to 3 reflexology sessions a week.
Yeah.
You had 2 to 3 lymphatic drainage massages per week. You had detox foot baths, pulsed electromagnetic field. You had the sonophotodynamic light therapy. You had your light watch, all of the supplements that she was taking, injections.
And I was going to the gym.
Yep, going to the gym.
Trainer
needed 30 minutes of cardio every 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Was the minimum.
And I was doing sauna there.
Yep. And you had finished your hypnotherapy, but that was a full process leading up to starting. Yep. And then we had other healers come in, people in the community who were coming through.
Yeah.
And
some we did remotely.
Yep.
Because it was winter. People couldn't come into town. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very, very comprehensive. But the one thing I would say about what she did was it was consistent and it was dedicated and it was also a complete surrender. Like, I feel like you letting go of smoking and you choosing to let other people guide you because you felt.
And it wasn't just smoking. It was not only cigarettes, it was caffeine, it was sugar.
Yeah.
Started eating 3 meals a day.
Yeah. Which she hadn't been doing.
And I mean, yeah, no white flour. I mean, I really,
Yeah, no alcohol.
no alcohol. Yep, no
Even though
alcohol.
you didn't drink a lot of alcohol, but still you did have a beer here and there,
Yeah.
a drink here and there, wine, you know.
Yeah.
So it took incredible dedication and consistency and releasing all of who she was before she let go. You know, the job, like that was out, you know, as soon as you're terminal, it's kind of like you go on disability, right?
Yeah.
And so she was able to let go of a lot of the stress in her life that was generating, you know, stress generates inflammation and has your body hold on to toxicity, which leads to cancer. You know, you did emotional work at Hope for Cancer with Dr.
Leslie.
Dr. Leslie.
Yeah.
She did a lot of generational healing, like talking about the history of your family and the traumas of the family.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, bringing that all up. And she, you know, she's a Taurus for any of you who are into her astrology. So really like grounded, like kind of meat and potatoes, like hard tacks, like not super emotional. Like you're very like, you know, I don't know. She's very grounded.
I'm not woo-woo.
She's not woo-woo like me. I'm the one who's woo-woo and always tearing up over things and like talking about spirituality and your higher self and
right.
angels and, you know, angel guides.
I believe in that stuff, but I just don't want to be involved.
Yeah. Yeah. Damien offered her a full emotional clearing protocol. She's like, no, I don't want to do that. But you did the first 5 sessions.
That's right.
And that's what kickstarted you. Yeah. And I do have to mention with Damien, the work that you did with him, I feel like that was the foundation of everything that happened.
I think you're right, because he also, we worked on not only quitting smoking, but healing.
Yeah.
And I think that was huge.
Yeah. The subconscious programming of the brain.
Yes.
To literally clear the cancer from the body.
Yep.
And your subconscious mind gave you clues. Remember, it told you better and better.
Yep.
Her subconscious told her better and better. And so we wrote that. We had that like up on a Post-it note on the wall, better and better. And one of the things he said was, it's all done. It's clear. It's gone already. What do you see? And she saw a picture, like a metal, you saw a frame with like lilies on the outside and like a picture of you and I together, like healthy after it was all over. And we actually have a picture frame downstairs that somebody had bought when we redid her house. We like redid her living space for her.
Yep. Because she surprised me.
Yep. Surprised and upset slightly. Because, you know, she had lived in the house smoking for 20 plus years and it just needed new carpets, new paint, new furniture, you know, and so you had this like fresh beginning.
Yep.
But he talked about see yourself in the future when it's gone, it's done. It's so your brain controls everything, really. It controls hormones, it controls, you know, it controls what we manifest in our lives, really, this subconscious frequency. So that was really amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was, like you said, the base of starting to heal.
Yeah.
And I hope for cancer all day long I slept.
Yeah.
For 3 weeks.
While she was getting her treatments.
I slept, which was amazing because I'm not a sleeper. So, I mean, I'd be up early every morning, but I'd get into that clinic, I'd have my breakfast, I'd start my treatments, I'd fall right asleep.
And then she'd come home at like 3:30.
Yeah.
We'd go to the beach, we'd have a dinner, and then we'd go to bed.
And then we'd watch comedy.
Yeah, we'd watch comedy. That was a big one. And we'd also
Oh,
watch
The Truth About Cancer.
The Truth About Cancer. We did both.
Yeah.
You know, because laughter really stimulates
Yep.
just healing hormones in our body. And so, and also just lifting your spirits.
Yeah.
And
You would do my ultrasound on
Yep.
my back.
and we watched, The Truth About Cancer. We were learning all kinds of stuff about, I think that was the second version that came out where the global,
Yeah.
where they were traveling around the world to the different countries and talking about Dr. Tony, who's the founder of Hope for Cancer. He was a big part of that production and visiting different clinics around the world. So they did like India, you know, China,
Germany.
Germany, and talked to all of these doctors that were basically founders of these clinics or have helped people heal from cancer holistically. And so we were learning and seeing positive stories and of people who weren't needing to suffer through the process of their healing, which I think our society now, we have relinquished to the fact that we've been taught that in order to overcome cancer, you have to put poison in yourself. You have to lose your hair or be uncomfortable. Now, I have seen individuals who don't lose their hair or whatever treatment they're on, they're not having major negative side effects, which is amazing. But you know what I notice about those people? They're in alignment with the frequency of their treatments. They want those treatments. They feel good about those treatments. And so they're choosing that path, whatever that path is. And I feel like choice and alignment is critical for healing. And when you resist or when you go into something against your own inner will, it blocks your body's ability to heal.
Yeah.
And it just makes the healing process, you know, impossible.
Yeah. I also remember getting to the point because the fear is overwhelming. And I got to the point where I was like, wait a second, who the hell are these people telling me that I'm going to die? What do they know? Yeah, and I got angry. I was like, screw them, I'll show them. I'm not dying. I can go die. I'm not dying. And so, I mean, that was another thing. I had to get past that fear that they instilled in me. They, you know, they were the ones, they had given me no hope at all. And then when we were looking into Hope for Cancer, because we looked at a bunch of different options, but this one, there was a gentleman who had the same cancer as me. And he said, it's gone.
It was stage 3. He was stage 3.
I thought he was 4 also, terminal.
I'm pretty sure he was.
And, but he said, these were the only people who gave me hope. And I said, okay, that's where I want to go. That
was a great testimonial
that
he shared. And he had done conventional medicine first for maybe 1 return of the cancer or 2, and he had lost several of his organs. So, I mean, he was even starting from a more compromised place.
Right.
I mean, she went in fresh, like, okay, had the surgery, recovered, ready to go, hadn't taken anything that diminished her immune system. And so that was a big deal. She also,
but what do you have to lose?
Right.
You know, I mean, if you do the crappy stuff first, then you're in trouble. You know, your body's then already worse than what you started with. So, you know, there's always, you do the least harm at first. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, you still have options.
And that makes sense to you because you believe in holistic healthcare. But that doesn't make sense to everyone out there because they feel if we're told by the doctors, don't waste any time. Your doctor told you, I wouldn't advise that. I would not go down there. And if you come back here and it's grown and it's spread, I don't know if I can help you at that point. Like it might be too far gone.
Right.
And then there'll be nothing we can do for you.
Right.
So you believe in the power of holistic medicine.
Right. Well, I've seen it work.
Yeah. So she saw it work with me when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
And so, and you faced a lot of opposition when I was a child and I had juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. And, you know, she took me to the hospital, did the doctor's route, brought me around to, you know, top medical facilities.
Everybody thought I was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They thought you were crazy because she took me to a man who, you know, pressed on my arm and checked my muscle strength for foods and supplements. And I was sick for 2 years and he started working with me. And within, you said 3 weeks, I started to go into remission.
Yeah.
3 weeks. So you saw what it could do.
Yep.
But I think for most people.
And people still gave me a hard time, even though she was getting better. I'm like, I don't care how it works. It works.
Right. Whether it's placebo, whether
Doesn't
it's
matter.
actually doing something.
It's working. So we're going to keep doing it. Yeah. Yeah. But there was another situation where she, even as a 7.5-year-old, I said, look, this is your decision to make. This is not my decision. I'm not going to spend the next 10 years of my life telling you, don't eat that. Take your vitamins.
Right.
I wasn't, what a horrible life that would have been.
Yeah.
You know,
For both of us. Yeah. Forcing someone to do something either against their own choice or will.
So I said, you need to think about this and decide what you want to do, and I'll support you in whatever choice you make. Which is kind of what we did with me.
Yeah. I told her, I said, remember how you told me that? That I got to do what is being recommended, but it's my choice. I'm like, if I take on your case and support you on this, if you decide to do this, you've got to listen to me. You've got to.
Well, but I told her, I said, if it doesn't work, it's not your fault.
Right. And I know that was one of your biggest concerns. She was afraid that I would blame myself. And who knows, if things didn't go well, maybe I would be feeling guilty.
Yeah.
And, you know, you have to take that chance. And you were also worried that family would blame me and be angry with me if you chose to do that because of my influence on her.
Yep.
And she was afraid that maybe they would blame me for her death, you know, and also your fear of money. Like, okay, this is not cheap. You know, I mean, you literally threw everything you had into this. You did everything except sell your car and your home.
Right.
All of your retirement, everything. You've put it all and continuously. It's not just, oh, here, I go to Hope for Cancer, I'm done. This is every year and every month you're investing in supplements. I mean, thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And, you know, that takes belief and commitment. And I think it's hard to have belief when you haven't had any personal experiences or when all you're seeing all around you is doctors telling you, well, this is what you have to do. And this is how you get rid of this, or this is how you extend your life. And so, like, I'm hoping by sharing your journey and sharing your successes and also your sacrifices, even though they were sacrifices that were for you, but it was still, you gave up cigarettes. That was your identity.
Yeah, but I mean, that was one of these things where this was a choice.
Right.
And I made that choice. I had to have help to get there, but I made that choice. Just like as a child, she thought about it, like 30 minutes, I'm driving. She goes, okay, I'll do that. I said, okay.
I didn't want to be in a wheelchair. And I knew that was one of the potential options.
Yeah.
And continuously getting stuck with needles also.
Right.
Going to the hospital and getting, I was like, is there needles involved with this option? No needles.
No
I'm like,
needles.
okay. I'm like, all right. I like that. The next question that's up on our list of questions is what helped you get through the hardest days? And I just want to state that usually on a cancer journey, the hardest days are the ones where people are debilitated and they're laying in bed because they have all these horrible side effects from drugs and, you know, but thank God you never had any of those things.
No.
I feel like the hardest days were at the beginning, like when you were first diagnosed and like all of this information was coming in. But I don't know, what was your experience?
Well, it was overwhelming, especially the amount of things that I had to do. So I think what got me through it was we had a schedule.
Yeah.
And we had each vitamin, it had to be, we had to figure out a system where it was doable. So we had lists, we had charts, we check them off as we go.
Right. Yeah. You had a daily checklist for all of your
treatments
treatments
and supplements and when you had to take them. And so I think that was, overwhelming. How do you get through that? I have that protocol now that I need to do that is overwhelming. It's time to make a new chart. But yeah, it's so much easier when you don't. I was weak, but I was getting stronger because I was going to the gym. And, you look at everything every day as a blessing. So I wasn't sick. I just had to slow down and take things in order and, do what I needed to do. And so thank goodness, I had help and Thrive. I would be at Thrive a lot. And so just every day, just living and doing the stuff I needed to do.
Yeah. Living in gratitude.
Yep.
And for me as the caregiver, what helped me get through the hardest days, I think, was the, honestly, what did help me get through the hardest days for me? Being a part of her journey of learning of everything, I think supported me, like learning new things, new holistic approaches, that's my passion. And also just, I mean, I didn't feel like I had a lot of support, like from community members or even family. I hate to say that, but I had asked family for help with a couple of things and they couldn't come through for me. And it was sort of like a big realization for me that, you're kind of on your own in life. Like there's going to be angels there when you need them and when you most need them, but you can't rely on other people to get you through. I couldn't, because I seemed like where I asked, it wasn't there.
But with Thrive, they were.
Oh, Thrive. Oh my gosh. Yeah. No. And I saw that as them supporting you. It was supporting me too, but I saw that as them supporting you. For me personally, on my journey, like as your caregiver and support, I mean, what I did honestly is I went to Mexico with her while she was at Hope for Cancer. The way I cared for myself was I meditated and prayed every day while she was at the clinic. I'd wake up early. When she would get up, I would meditate. I would go to the beach.
Yeah.
Or we'd go to the beach in the morning.
I'd make her go watch the sunrise every morning.
You didn't make me. I wanted to. We would go watch the sunrise. Yeah, we'd do our morning sun salutations. And then I felt like I was sending her off to kindergarten. The bus would come and pick her up and I'd be like, oh. And then I would go up and I would start my journaling, my subconscious communication, my prayers, my meditations. And I think that got me through.
Right.
Really. My own self-care through the process.
Right.
And well, thank God. Yeah. Thrive helped me in that. They held down the fort.
Yeah.
I mean, I owned this business and they literally took care of everything while I was with her, helping her. And that journey, also during that journey, I was healing myself. I had been told that I had stage 3 precancerous cells in my body. And we had also, Ben and I had just lost our cats. both of our cats in January, beginning of February, both of our cats died from cancer unexpectedly. And so there was so much like trauma and fear. And the doctor told me, they were like, well, you know, they used the word hysterectomy with me while I was in Mexico with her. I got on the phone with the OB/GYN, and she was like, you know, well, this could lead, you know, if you don't do something, if you don't cut out part of your cervix, if you don't do this, you know, this can happen. And I said, give me 6 months. Give me 6 months to work on myself. And of course, you know, I did my supplements, I did my protocols, I did my own inner healing, but like focusing on me helped me help her, you know, it helped give me the energy to be there. And so that's kind of just in life in general, right? We can't care for others if we don't care for ourselves, if we don't put ourselves first. And, you know, during that time, I realized I needed to get a divorce. And that was something I had to do for me. And that was really painful and really hard, you know, because, you know, Ben is an amazing man. And
we all love him.
Yeah. So that was hard. But I did that for me. I realized, I'm like, life is short. You know, this gave me lots of lessons, your experience.
Yep. I think it was good for him too.
Yes, it was.
So it was the right decision. And he was good about everything.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he was. But what a tough time.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what a tough time. But talk about making difficult decisions for yourself. Like when I coach people in regards to healing, if there's something that's misaligned in their life, I'm coaching them to let it go. I'm coaching them. If you are in a relationship that is not aligned, you need to let it go. If you're in a job that's not aligned, if you're in a living situation that's not aligned, if you are doing anything that is not serving your highest inner frequency for whatever reason, you need to step away from that.
Yeah.
As hard as it may be.
Yeah. Dr. Tony talks about that a lot in his webinars and stuff.
He does.
He said, you know, that's really important.
Dr. Tony is an incredible human physician, pioneer, oncologist. He's an incredible human. And yeah, he founded Hope for Cancer. Well, you know, I continue to support Hope for Cancer and their efforts and to recommend people to go there. And well, I'm just so grateful for them.
Yeah.
I knew, yes, I owned a wellness center. But I knew this case, stage 4, with my mother involved. I was like, this is too big for my britches. I knew that. I knew that I wasn't ready, nor did I want to take on your case alone with Thrive.
Well, it'd be impossible. We didn't have the facilities.
We didn't have the facilities to do what they did.
Right.
But some people might think, oh, I have a wellness center. You know, I can do this. I can do that. You read up on things.
I didn't want to. I talk to people all the time who they've decided that they're going to heal themselves. And
right.
I haven't seen one situation where it's worked. I knew for me, I didn't want to be reading up and saying, oh, I'm going to try this or I'm going to try that.
Right.
I wanted to go someplace where they just took care of me and said, today we're going to do this, this, and this.
Right.
Say, great. Okay, I could do that.
And
but to spend my time
you didn't want to take
cancer.
Yeah, you didn't want to take it on. And I didn't want to take it on. I couldn't take it on by myself.
No, I didn't want you to do that either.
Follow-up care, yes. We were right there, right on it. No problem. But the when you have a condition like stage 4 cancer, any type of degenerative disease that's threatening your life, you need to go to the top doctors. You know, I coach my clients that. I'm like, oh, this is what we're doing. Okay. We're looking into Johns Hopkins. We're looking into Penn Medicine. I'm Googling what's the top cancer treatment center in the world. the whole world. Where are they? Do we have to go to Germany? Do we have to go to India?
Right.
What do we need to do? Right? Because if you value your life to that level, which I value it for you because you're my mama and I don't want to lose you early. That's what you do, right? If you can within your capacity. Some people that's out of the question, and that's okay too. Again, it's got to be aligned, but we pretty much determined they were the best of the best.
Yeah.
And even following going to, I've gone to some like alternative cancer treatment. I went to a convention 2 years ago, and just seeing all of the head doctors of the different facilities, I was like, wow, we made the right choice. I mean,
Yeah.
science-backed, grounded, foundational, but also it's just they've got the perfect blend of spiritual and holistic when it comes to emotions and to lifestyle. But then also they have the whole team of oncologists from Mexico, a lot of the doctors from Mexico, but they're trained oncologists. They're not holistic practitioners. They're trained medical doctors.
Yeah.
But they receive all of their information from Dr. Tony's research and they're also trained through their own mentors on holistic approaches to cancer and medicine. And so you just get this beautiful blend of science-backed, holistic support. And that for me, when I like that, I was like, these guys are the best.
Yeah. And like I said, I did not want to be immersed in my cancer, surrounded by and always looking for another answer. I'm glad he did all the research.
Yes, exactly. We don't need to travel the world looking for the remedy.
Right. Yeah.
They've done the work.
Yeah.
Let it be that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they come up with new stuff all the time, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yay. I'm so glad you chose that.
I am so glad you helped me.
Oh.
Couldn't have done it without you.
The question is, how did we make treatment decisions, and how were we overwhelmed by different options? And so maybe you weren't overwhelmed, but I was, because I wanted to know about every single type of immunotherapy.
That's right.
She was sitting back letting other people make the suggestions and do the work while I was doing the research and trying to figure out, like, okay, these are the options that she's being given, and who's the best doctor? Where are we going to get our first opinion and our second opinion? I mean, I'm the one who helped, we get all these doctor's appointments lined up and figuring out, okay, we went to, Temple, and then, you had the surgeon, it was choosing the surgeon. Okay, we had the recommendation, but also, is this the right surgeon? Are there better surgeons? There was so many things to think about and choose from. I mean,
well, the urologist here in town, he worked out to be great. He goes, I can do this, but I don't think you want me to do this surgery. But I know a guy.
Yeah, right. These little clues, right? They lead you to your next step, but you still also have to research them. You don't just blindly say, oh, okay.
Right.
It's, well, okay, thank you very much. What's the next step? Let's read up on, I'd go online and search about the doctors. And, we found Dr. Narayan, who is your doctor at Penn Medicine.
Yep.
And, this all took like research and time. And so to me, that's where the overwhelm came in, was just making sure that each step we were choosing the best option, and that we were also, I was trying to figure out, what did you want? Because I didn't want to push you into holistic. I knew that that's like what I was hoping for, but it was like, okay, we're checking our options. what are our options? Okay, this particular type. Oh, here's a study that's happening. Potentially you could become a part of this clinical study. But then it turned out, okay, if you do the clinical study, then you can't take any supplements.
Right.
You can't do any of your own integrative holistic care. So then it was like,
that's not going to work.
right, we don't want to do that, and getting all the scans and making sure, okay, do we have all the information that we need? Do we, and then hope for cancer. So in simplifying things or in following your path, sometimes it can complicate things because, well, what would be easier, showing up at a hospital and letting them put immunotherapy into your body and that's all you do, or literally having a full-time job caring for yourself, 7 days a week?
Yeah.
I mean, it's work.
Yeah. That's one thing people call me quite a bit and ask about Hope for Cancer and the treatments. And, I tell them this is not an easy thing to do. You really have to be invested in what's going to happen and what you need to do to put into it to help get yourself better. But that's a good thing, Then the control, even though they organized my daily treatments, it's still, I was working to get better. I wasn't just having a port put in and getting chemicals and saying, gee, I hope this works. I was doing stuff every day to work to get better.
Right.
And so it empowers you to make yourself well. It's, you don't feel like a puppet. You're in control of your own life to a certain extent. Nobody's in total control of their own life, but I found that to be way better, because you're out of control when they tell you you're sick and that you're dying.
Or there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
I mean, the bottom line is they basically told her there's nothing you can do about this. You can take this immunotherapy. It may or may not help extend your life. It also may or may not shorten your life, depending on the reaction you have to it. So they were very honest about all of that, but those were the options, right? And I think some people, which is really fantastic, a lot of people now who are choosing to do chemotherapy or immunotherapy or these things, many of them are also trying to become engaged in their healing process.
Yes.
By doing their own, prayer, supplementation, research. I mean, which is, as my mom said, it's really difficult to take that on for yourself.
Yeah.
That's why I always recommend identify a qualified specialist to support you on this journey. Don't try to go at it on your own. This is your life.
Yeah.
It's worth the investment to figure it out and to find resources. Even if you have to do a campaign or ask family for support or whatever you have to do, get that extra support so you're not putting that additional burden on yourself.
Right.
But people are, right? Like people are starting to try to become more engaged and empowered. Some, not all.
Yeah. But it's not for everybody.
It's not. No, it's not. Some people just want to go in and just have that done. And that's, this book is really, and this story is for people who are maybe seeking something more. It's not to convince people who are already choosing to do these paths that what they're doing is wrong, and that's not what we're saying. It's just
right, because what I did was right for me.
Right for you, exactly. It's not right for everybody.
Right.
But the thing that I do feel is important to say as a holistic practitioner is that it is not a good idea to consume foods that are toxic and poisonous for your body. It is not a good idea to stay in toxic relationships. It is not a good thing for you to remain in old addictive patterns, for you to remain in drama and trauma. If you truly want to heal and recover from cancer, you can't be drinking a cocktail on the days in between your chemotherapy. And can you get through? Sure. You know what? Some people will get through. Do they heal? No, I don't think so. You know, I feel that cancer is an opportunity to look at your life and actually make changes for the better for yourself. And you can choose to do that, or you can choose to just ignore it and just say, I'm just going to do, I'm just going to do the drugs they tell me to do. I'm just going to, and that's it. I'm not changing my life. I'm not changing the way I eat. I'm not giving anything up. And it used to be the doctors would support that. They'd say, oh, eat whatever you want. Oh, here, have some cookies, eat some pizza, go get fast food. You need to put weight on, and thank God, at least that perspective is changing now. Because I mean, slowly but surely, there's still a lot of doctors out there who think it doesn't matter what you eat, which just blows my mind. But yeah, I kind of went off track there, but I'm on a rant. Get me my mascara. So, Mom, what message would you give to anyone who is newly diagnosed with cancer?
I think my biggest message would be take a step back, take a deep breath. This has been in you. Don't let it terrify you. You don't need to do anything right away. You have time to take a breath and to look into other options. You don't need to be terrorized into starting chemotherapy tomorrow. It's not urgent. It just isn't. I don't believe in any case that it's urgent. I think it's more urgent that you take a look at what you're dealing with and maybe go for that second or third opinion and talk to your support people and figure out what is best for you, what you want. I talk to people all the time, and they're through fear, they're forced into making quick decisions. And then afterwards they say, I wish I hadn't have done that because now I'm sick, really sick from what they're doing to me. And I think you have to remember that, the medical field is a business and they make millions of dollars off of you going on their drugs.
Billions.
Yeah.
Billions.
And you really, and that's fine if that's what you want to do, but don't be forced into making quick decisions because they make you think it's urgent. I haven't seen one situation where it was urgent for you to start chemo next week. You can take a break, you can breathe, you can think about it, meditate on it, go to church, pray on it, and don't let fear overtake your life because it doesn't have to. You just say, wait a second here, let's figure this out. And let me figure out what's going to be best for me.
Right. And your values. I feel like that's a part of what's best for you. Where are your values? For you, it was quality of life and time with family, right? Those were your two most important things.
Yeah.
And quality of life played a big role in your decision.
Yes.
To not do that. And you need to understand what the implications are. What are the potential outcomes of any treatment choice that you make? So when you rush into things, you don't have an opportunity a lot of the times to fully understand all the side effects. What are the long-term side effects, right? Sometimes they don't even know the long-term side effects because the drug has just come out. And then you also have to consider, do I want to take a drug that nobody knows the long-term side effects on? Heart failure, trouble with breathing and the lung health. It could be long-term detrimental to your hormones. what is it that's the outcome here? And what are other options, if there are other options for me, and then looking into that. There are some fast growing cancers. There are some cancers that, yes, are they growing quickly? Yes, they are. However, a lot of the times when individuals have a cancer like that, even when they start the chemical treatments, it's too late for them. And so how do you want to spend your days? How do you want to spend your days if these are going to be your final days? What is the most important thing to you? And so that's, I think, just to add on to what you were saying. And for me, making sure that people are hearing you. I think a lot of the times doctors can be dismissive. And I'm not saying all doctors, again, this isn't a blanket statement, but, they're kind of, I think a lot of oncologists, this is what they see. So it's over and over and over again. It just becomes normal daily, practice for them to say, this is your life expectancy, this is the limitations, this is your only option. Like that's just, they're used to that. And you need to step back and not believe everything everyone says to you, and not even believe that your diagnosis is correct, because there is a very high percentage of misdiagnosis when it comes to cancer. Very high. I think it's like 60% actually. Don't quote me on that, but I've been doing research on it for the book and I was shocked. I was like absolutely shocked. And they don't even know, a lot of them, until after they've already started treatment on the first type of cancer, or the misdiagnosis. They start treatment on it, and then down the line, I mean, we know with one of our clients back at the very beginning when they totally misdiagnosed her. She went through all these treatments for a different type of cancer, so nearly died. Literally, the pulsed electromagnetic field that we had helped her actually get her energy back and be able to complete all of her conventional treatments. But get a second opinion. Like, start there.
Yeah.
Take a breath.
Yeah.
Chill. Get a second opinion. And then maybe even get a third. If you don't like the doctor, if you're getting an icky feeling in your stomach, get a third opinion, right? Find somebody where you're like, okay, this feels good. This feels right. This person has my best interest in their heart and I feel it, right? Because if we let individuals in the medical system continue to get away with treating us cold, dismissive, and I'm only saying all of this because I've heard you come back and tell me story after story after story of a lot of the people that you met in the Live Strong group and other individuals who have under her own experience where these doctors have said horrible things.
Horrible.
You're just like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And so if we let that happen, they're going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
So don't let them push you. Don't be forced. Don't be fear-mongered, and connect with your own voice. In the book here, your own inner voice, your own inner, like you said, pray, meditate. The book is about doing that. It's about checking in. What are your values? What feels aligned for you? And also guiding you on how to interact with your oncologist, what questions to ask your oncologist, how to get a second opinion without insulting your first opinion, all of these things that can be challenging when you're trying to have your own journey without family members bullying you into doing certain things, friends, not only are you afraid, but all of your family members are afraid too.
Right.
And so that causes them, when they go into fear mode, they're going to default to what they think is best for you. And they're not trying to hurt you or trying to have you make, a wrong decision, but, they'll get, pushy around it. I got a threat from a family member. You're making a huge mistake taking her to Mexico. And I actually, after she was better and we were down for a follow-up, we were in Cancun and I came across this big giant eraser and it said, for big mistakes. And I thought, maybe I should buy this and send this to them. when you're in Cancun, you can make some really big mistakes. But, they're meaning
Not when
well.
you're not drinking.
No, you never know. But they're only doing their best. They're only, guiding you for what they feel would be most beneficial for you in their hearts. But it doesn't matter what's in their heart.
Right.
Or in their gut or in their feeling. It's you. It's what matters to you.
Yes.
And you listen. You listen to what you felt.
Yep.
So now you're 6 years cancer-free.
Yep. And I did my treatments this morning and took my supplements.
Yep. And we need to do a wellness exam for you.
Yes.
Probably tomorrow, your follow-up.
Okay.
After you get back from your riding lesson.
Yep. I'm riding horses.
So
I'm boxing tonight.
And she does boxing. Yep. Living your life, living your active life.
Yep.
And we continue to check up on you, and you continue to go see Dr. Narayan, and you continue to go back to Hope for Cancer once a year. So you see Dr. Narayan every 6 months, Hope for Cancer once a year, me usually 2 to 3 times a year. We'll sit down and do just a kind of a recap of everything. Just being grateful. Do you have anything to say about being 6 years?
No, I live every day. So, and I'm grateful. So thank you, honey.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I got a good kid.
All right. So if you are interested in getting a pre-order in for this book, which helps me with finalizing everything and bringing the book to the public, please click on the link, which can be found in the comments or utilize that to place a pre-order or get on the pre-order list. Right now, we're currently setting up the opportunity to order the book in advance. There's many different things that have to fall into place to bring things to publication. And I'm in the writing process now, bringing it to a closing here in the final month of the year. And then we'll be looking to publish. We're hoping by the end of January, but definitely first quarter 2026. So any support that you can give by sharing this information with your friends, knowing that this book is coming. We are going to have additional support tools and chapters available prior to publication for individuals to invest in this effort to get the word out. We are starting a Kickstarter, fundraiser right now to help with this and to support us in marketing it and spreading the word, because as things can go viral and a lot of the times they don't. So we want to just help get the word out for people. We're asking for your support to just get this out to individuals who need it as soon as possible. Every week I'm talking to someone who either has a family member who's just been diagnosed or a friend who's had cancer and got over it and now it's back again. Or, I keep hearing all these things and I'm just like, oh my God, like this book needs to be published. This book needs to be published. Like it should have been published a year ago. So I know, don't rush, take a breath, step back. Everything's happening in perfect timing. But any support would be greatly appreciated. And the pre-order list is available, and pre-orders and support for getting the word out is coming very, very soon. So thank you so much for watching and listening to what we had to share and for your support.